Hello everybody, we are back with a new video on spiritual quantum physics, and today we are going to talk about how to predict a result. Before I continue, I am not a scientist. I am a shaman and I like quantum physics a lot because it is full of a great wisdom, a great philosophy, and a great spirituality too. So, today's topic is how to predict a result. The concept that we are going to talk about here is a concept from quantum mechanics that is called the undeterminism of measure. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go and watch the video that I made just before this one, which is being here and there at the same time, because you will understand this video a lot better. In the previous video, we talked about the fact that particles were actually able to be in two different places at the same time. So actually, based on this principle of superposition that we saw in the last video, quantum mechanics actually admitted that we could actually not measure, these particles, which is kind of logic, because if we cannot know where a particle is, we cannot, locate it in space and time. Like, how can we measure it? So quantum mechanics admitted that we will get different results every time we would try to measure these particles, and thus that it was impossible to predict anything. To make sure that you see how much, how mind-blowing this is, imagine a machine, that throws tennis balls under, the same settings. So always with the same strength, always in the same direction. The tennis balls are all the same. They have the same feel, they have the same weight, they have the same construction patterns, like everything is the same. When we do the experiment, so with a machine that throws tennis balls that are exactly the same settings on everything, the results are going to be pretty much the same. It may be tiny, with a tiny difference, but overall it will always be in the same, the measures will always be in the same range. But when you do the same thing with electrons, let's say, you'll get something completely different from one time to another. So this is why it's just impossible to predict things. What does all of this mean? Okay, let's just jump into it, okay? First of all, it means that we are not supposed to predict things, because we are supposed to live things, we are supposed to change, we are supposed to evolve, we are supposed to build the life that we want. And if we were able to predict things, we would act according to these predictions, or we will only wait for these predictions to happen. In both cases, we are bound to something that is external to us, which is not good. It is not something that the universe wants for us. We need to listen to ourselves. I encourage you also to go and watch the video on how to change matter, so that it'll give you more insight over this. I know we are adding up a lot of videos all the time, but it's just that the concepts are so complex that in order not to make it too heavy, in each video, it's better to cut it in different pieces. So what is interesting actually is that when we stop trying to predict or wishing to predict things, we are then in acceptance of what is. you know? And we accept things, we see things as they really are. I also encourage you, oh my god, there's going to be a lot of videos. I encourage you to also go and watch the video that I made on the double slit experiment to understand all of this better. So, when we stop trying or wishing to predict things, we are actually in acceptance of what things are, as simple as this. And when you accept things as they really are, and that you do things according to yourself, you listen to your inner voice. You stop listening and following external points of views. It's just you following yourself, following this internal calling, following what feels right, what feels fair to you. And when you do this, actually, you cannot be predicted by other people anymore. You become like the particles that compose you. You become unpredictable. Why? Because under the same circumstances where most people would actually react according to these circumstances, you act on the base of what you feel, at a certain moment in time. And even in the same situations, you may react completely differently from one time to the other, because you are following your internal calling and not, the situations or the external elements of the situation. And so, when you accept things as they really are and you become as unpredictable as, the particles that actually compose you, you actually become able to predict. You become able to predict things, because when you get out, in a sense, when you get out of this control by all these external things, it could be people, it could be your limiting thoughts and beliefs, behaviors, conditionings, like whatever, cultures, like put everything in there. When you get out of this, you are actually able to see the patterns, of things and people that actually keep evolving in the thing that you are not controlled of by. And so you become able to predict things, indeed, and quite easily, like it truly becomes very obvious to you. And this is actually the recipe, to become a shaman, to become a psychic, to become a medium, like call it whatever you like. But this is the recipe. So what you have to do is accept what is. Follow your intuition, follow your inner voice, always, always, and become part of the magic that composes you. Thank you for watching.